We'll go ahead and get started. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in here. We are very excited to be here today. In this fireside chat, we are going to talk about how the e-commerce stores can create a compelling and unique experience with the help of PIM. My name is Prem, and I'm the product manager at Unbxd. And today I have the pleasure of having Mr. Coy Demont from BigCommerce. Uh, I'm also going to extend my warm welcome to all the attendees for taking out your crucial time. We'll start with a brief introduction with Coy. Over to you, Coy.
Thank you so much, Prem. And just as Prem said, thank you all so much for joining us, taking some time out today to learn some more about, our joint solution, BigCommerce and Unboxed. I am manager of strategic partnerships here at BigCommerce. Me and my team, we manage the back office category specifically. So we've got all of our ERPs, and our iPaaS and our PIM solutions. And super excited, obviously, to be here to be chatting with you today around Unboxed PIM, Prem.
Thanks, Coy, for your introduction. Coy, before we begin, I just had some plan in my mind. To make the chat interesting, I thought of having a quick rapid fire with you. I'll be throwing some words at you, a single word, whatever comes to your head, a single word, a line, whatever you can connect with those words. Feel free to express yourself. Are you ready? Are you up for this?
I'm up for it. I'm up for it. I'm not going to say I'm ready, but I'm up for it.
Definitely. Okay, the first word is weather.
Weather. Unpredictable.
Texas.
Bigger.
E-commerce.
Infancy.
Okay. BigCommerce.
Differentiated.
Coy.
Powerful. Powerful. That's what I would say.
Catalog management.
Underestimated.
And Unboxed.
Primed.
Awesome. That was great. You were on spot, Coy, I must say. I think we all are warmed up, and let's begin with our, the key topic for today. The agenda is we are talking about how e-commerce storefront can create a unique experience for the shoppers. And let's start with what everyone is, having on the top of the head. Looking at the situation around the world with this COVID situation, there is a huge shift happening in the e-commerce industry. I really want to understand from your experience, what are the key trends you're observing, where exactly e-commerce is heading, and primarily why I'm asking you, because in this situation also, BigCommerce is powering over more than 60,000 plus e-commerce storefronts across different verticals, across different categories, and I must say it's working in B2B space, B2C space also. So it'll be interesting to know from you.
So we're seeing a ton of different trends, and we're on what I believe is the precipice of another digital transformation, right? We've seen this in super traditional industries like banking, for example. No longer do you have to go inside and make a deposit if someone sends you a check. You can do that over your phone. I think about healthcare now and medical records and how everything used to be written down, but now everything has moved to digitalizing, right? And we're seeing that now more and more and more. We're seeing it now even more in what would be what I would call a bit more of traditional industries, right? Like I think of, for example, grocery stores. You would think that this would be something that an individual would have to go to the grocery store, have to shop, have to pay, and then come out. But more and more, we're seeing things like curbside pickup. We're seeing buy online, pickup in store. We are seeing large grocery chains use e-commerce to be able to power their businesses. And they're seeing such tremendous advantages to it, right? We ran a campaign actually here around bricks to clicks. And that's essentially taking your retail brick and mortar store and digitalizing it, right? Taking it online so that your customers can be able to interact with you and your brand wherever they are. We are, again, still seeing more traditional businesses like your manufacturers and distributors who were typically just going B2B. Now they want to go direct to consumer. because they understand how important it is for them to be able to interact with their customers, for them to be able to create a dynamic customer experience so that ultimately differentiator for them in the market to continue to move forward. So e-commerce isn't something that just came around, right? The technology's been here, the innovation has been here, but because of the pandemic, we're seeing an acceleration of the adoption, and we're seeing that first adopters, individuals who either already had in e-commerce presence within their company or organization, or those who had already started planning around this, those first adopters, they took advantage of all of e-commerce had. And for some of them, it was keeping their business alive. Because for others who did not really have a very strong digital strategy or e-commerce strategy, we found that they just no longer were around anymore from a business perspective. So those are just some of the trends that we're seeing, Prem. And I just wanted to make sure that I kind of set the stage there for us as we continue through this conversation.
I'm saying that many of the e-commerce storefronts, who could not catch up with the situation which is going around the world. Some of them flourished, some of them, many of them died also in this global pandemic situation. So how do you assess this situation? What is the prime reason for this?
Yeah, well, I mean, one, there's knowing and understanding the technology that's out there and being sure that you are up to date on what that is. The second piece is content, right? I don't believe that we truly understand how large of a role that content plays, right? And if we were to begin to kind of break down content and start to look at some of the best companies, we would start to understand why content is so important. So let's talk about a couple of companies, right? The first that comes to mind who really, really does content extremely well is Apple. So Apple does content so well, right? The iPhone is so ingrained in our society and our day-to-day lives. And the amazing job that Apple does just with the iPhone by itself is absolutely incredible, right? They take this content first approach. So, whether it's through FaceTime and a great grandmother has an opportunity to see the first smile of her great grandchild because she's been unable to be in the delivery room because of all of what's going on, or, maybe it's through the translation app that's on the iPhone that enables you to create a new relationship with someone in a different country that you're unable to speak the language. But we're seeing that content play out. And the more that we see the content play out, we see more and more individuals being gravitated to it. It's the same thing that Nike has done, right? Really helping everyone to understand that everyone is an athlete. And because everyone is an athlete, everybody wants to either wear some Nike gear or put on Nike shoes or, get the Nike Run app. But we're seeing more and more of this content first approach. And as we're seeing more and more with content first, more customers or merchants, I should say, e-commerce business owners and or business owners in general need to start adopting this strategy. And one way to be able to help automate that is going to be with a PIM like Unbxd. I feel this is actually a place where a lot of merchants still haven't really figured it out, right? The thought here that a lot of merchants have is, how can I increase my sales channels? Because if I've got more sales channels, that means that I've got more avenues for people to see my product, and i.e. they're going to buy more, I'm going to have larger revenue. And it's not to say that there is not some truth to that. It's simply to say that if you don't have a content strategy along with this, you'll start to realize that all you're doing is you're now opening yourself up to more customers who are going to be coming your way that either don't really know and or understand your product. They don't really know and or understand your value proposition and how you're differentiated. And then last but not least, the customer experience is typically one that is going to be a bit subpar because you have not truly focused in on the content, on educating the customer on what it is that you do, your product, how it's going to help them, how it's going to solve the problems that they have. And more we're seeing that, merchants just are not really getting this right. And that's the part that really excites me about the partnership between BigCommerce and Unbxd. And it's the automation that really comes in here. That's really one of my favorite parts, is being able to remove the manual effort needed for a merchant to truly adopt this omni-channel strategy, which is one that all merchants are going to have to adopt if they truly want to grab as much market share as possible, because they need to be everywhere that their customers are, whether they want to shop with them on social, or they want to shop with them in a big box retail store, or they'd like to shop with them on their own branded e-commerce store, or maybe over Amazon or Walmart. You've got to ensure that you've got a platform that can enable you to push out the product information data, not only in a extremely easy to read and easy to digest way, but also in a way that will natively show up on all of the channels that you're now on.
Yeah, to your point, I think I believe PIM exactly plays the crucial role when it comes to explaining the product innovation to channels, as you and Walmart, or even if you want information to distributors. I think I believe before adding this information to sales, there are two important. It's one thing is you collate your data. That's the data ingest into, and you enrichment this information. These are extremely important.
Let me take a look at some of the questions. So I've got a question here that says, what should e-commerce startup enthusiasts look after while starting? Is it logistics or idea or technology? So my thought here, being a business owner, let me give you that perspective. So being a business owner, obviously you do want to make sure that you've got, the right idea. You want to make sure that you're having conversations with individuals so that they can, begin to help you to see blind spots that are there. The other thing that I would think through when it comes to, being, an e-commerce enthusiast, if you will, is you do want to make sure that you've got the right technology, right? You want to make sure that you've got the right e-commerce platform, something that's going to be able to scale with you, something that's going to be able to enable you to connect to best in breed technologies. Not saying that right out the gate, you need to have all of the bells and whistles, but these are the things that you need to be thinking through. And sadly, these are the things that a lot of merchants don't really think through whenever they get started. Typically what happens is they've got an idea, and with that idea, they will then just kind of use all of the tools at their disposal to be able to achieve what it is that they'd like to achieve. And, we find merchants, once they start to, really get things going, they've got their MVP or their minimal viable product out in the market. Individuals are buying in, they've got a nice flow of customers, and they're starting to now think about, okay, what's next and how can I expand? The moment that you begin to start thinking about what's next and how can I expand should be a moment that you begin to start to think about logistics. Because if you are unable to get the product to the right person at the right time, then everything else completely starts to fall apart. Because now you're going to constantly be searching to get new people into your company and or organization, as opposed to truly allowing the individuals that you currently have, the customers that you currently have, taking care of them, allowing that to be the word of mouth, allowing them to be the brand ambassadors for your company and your brand. And they will begin to also help you to attract more and more individuals to your company. So that's a long-winded way of saying, yes, you want to make sure that you've got a good idea. You're having conversations with individuals about your idea so that you can see the blind spots, so that you can put out a minimal viable product. The second thing is you do want to check in on the technology that you've got, especially when it comes to e-commerce. You want to make sure that you've got a powerful platform that is going to enable you to scale, that's going to enable you to fit in with other technologies that are out there as you continue to grow and get larger. And then last, but certainly not least, you also want to be thinking about that you're getting the right product to the right person at the right time, and that individuals are able to see your content no matter where or what channel they're shopping on. So really, really great question. Thank you for that. So I've got another question up here. Let's see. All right. So you spoke about showing the content before to potential customers. What if the customer segment is too narrow within B2B? If the customer segment is too narrow within B2B? Again, I will answer this as a business owner and then kind of bring it back to BigCommerce as well. So as a business owner, I personally don't believe that there is a customer segment that is too narrow. A lot of times we go out and we spread our net actually way too wide, and then it's difficult for us to really get the customers that it is that we're looking for. One of the things that I tell a lot of startups is if you cannot get your neighborhood to buy your product, how do you think you're going to get the city to do it? How do you think you're going to get the region to do it? How do you think you're going to get the world to do it? So you should start narrow. You should start in a niche, and you should own that niche, right? And then as you own that niche, as you scale up, that's then when you scale out. So as far as getting content in front of your potential customers, you should begin to start to ask yourself certain questions about where your customers are, right? And not only where they are, as in, are they online? If they are online, are they on social platforms? If they're on social platforms, what social platforms do they typically use? If they're not online or using any type of social platforms, how are they now communicating with other individuals? Maybe it is through golf, maybe it's through different associations. So you certainly want to make sure that you're able to get your content in front of those individuals where they are. And there's so many different ways to get content in front of them. A lot of these associations have newsletters that you can, call in and find out if you're able to advertise your product with them, maybe for a small fee, or maybe they're even able to do it for free if you were to join the organization. There's so many different ways to get your content out there in front of, your potential customers. But the thought here is, again, from an omni-channel strategy, you don't want to limit yourself. You want to be everywhere that your customers are. And again, you want to be pushing from a content first perspective with the thought process of what is in it for my customer, what pain am I solving, and why is my product the best product to solve it. So those are really just some things to be thinking through, as you're things to be thinking through if you are already an e-commerce merchant and thinking about expanding your omni-channel strategy.
So I want to understand, Koi, from you. So you have spoken to so many e-commerce storefronts. Yeah, as I'm saying, every day BigCommerce is adding storefront. It's today the number stands above 60,000 plus. What is your take? How these people perceive, catalog management, or what's their opinion about PIM when they hear of PIM?
Yeah. I mean, I believe a lot of merchants need more education, right? They really need to understand how and why it's so important to be able to, as you had mentioned before, Prim, enhance the data, right? It's one thing to purchase something based upon a single photo, and it's another thing to have 7 photos or 8 photos, a video, right? For you to be able to actually see the product in action, right? For you to maybe see from a clothing perspective, someone who is maybe around your same, height, build, etc., and say, okay, cool, this is how this product is going to look on me. This is how I'm now able to bring this particular thing inside, right? We're seeing more and more companies start to take on more advanced features online as well, like augmented reality and being able to actually have a product now put directly into an area. And again, from a content perspective, if the content is not enriched, if you do not have really great data management to where tagging is actually there and to really work through faceted search, right? So let me give you an example. I was chatting with a merchant not too long ago, and they were having difficulty modeling what they needed to with regard to the architecture that they were going to have from a faceted search perspective, right? A lot of times, because we're on the other side, we don't understand some of the intricacies that come with owning and running an e-commerce store. So let's say, for example, this polo. Let's say that individuals were like, Koi, I really love that polo that you've got. I'd love to get my hands on that too. And what this merchant was struggling with was they were struggling with all of the different variants that would go underneath the initial SKU. So sure, you've got the polo, and the polo might be a size medium or a size small or a size large. Okay, cool, those are variants, but then what about the additional variants that go underneath that, right? if it's going to be a polo that was made for men, or a polo that was made for women, or a polo that was made for children. Is it a girl? Is it a boy? Like, you've got all of these different things that fall underneath that, which are the variants that are there. And that's literally just one product. So now you start to expand, right? And let's say, for example, you want to expand into either more shirts, or you want to expand into more colors, right? Because I didn't even get into colors. What if you don't like blue and you want pink, or you want green, or you want yellow, or you want green? Or I already said green. You want red. This is how you know it's off the top of my head, right? But like, these are the things that a lot of merchants are either not privy to, or they're just missing out on the education factor. So I'm seeing that a lot, that from an education standpoint, so that these merchants can understand, number one, that an omni-channel strategy is a very successful strategy. And we've seen how that omni-channel strategy is successful. Again, we can go back to a Nike, we can go back to an Apple, all of the differentiated ways and diversified ways that they've gone out and, you know, brought customers to them. And the next thing is, how do we automate this? How do we not allow the pain of success? Because there is that other side of this, yes, which is you've now got a ton of orders coming in. You used to only manage 50 orders a week, and now you're getting 50 orders a day. Well, how are you going to automate that? How can you remove those manual processes? And that, again, is where a PIM comes into play, so that whenever you're rolling out a new SKU, or you're rolling out a new product, or you know, you want to remove a product from a particular sales channel, or add an additional product to another sales channel, this thing does not have to take you days and days, or weeks and weeks, or months and months, and you end up missing what's going on, the trend, and more importantly, you end up with a poor customer experience, which then leads to negative ratings and reviews, which then leads to your brand being tarnished. So these are the things that we need to start thinking about, and e-commerce merchants need more and more education on this, Prem.
Absolutely, I agree with you, Boy. And you have covered the key use cases, right, which most of the shoppers are facing in their day-to-day operations. When it comes to variant handling, or you know, when you are saying that when you want to sync data to different sales channels or different marketplaces, you need to, you know, automate the process. And that's where I think PIM comes into the picture, because you have the ability to provide all the platform rules which have been set by these marketplaces. Amazon have different validation rules, Walmart have different validation rules. All these things can be captured in adapters which PIM provides, Unboxed PIM provides. And you know, once you set up these adapters, it's a one click away. You get the error reporting at the product level, which product is going wrong. And also, if your information is absolutely right, you don't have to worry about over the weekends you're traveling and your data is getting exported to the Amazon, or you know, BigCommerce, or let's say Walmart. So this kind of you know, flexibility is given to the e-commerce storefronts owners, and they can use their time in expansion, or you know, thinking about how they can go to the market in really very quickly, or everything, spending most of the time in, you know, thinking about how they can expand their business instead of worrying about the day-to-day operations. And I think that's where PIM is so useful, and is a critical element nowadays in this e-commerce, ecosystem, and from the seller side point of view, when they want to push information to the shoppers. Yeah, it was interesting to understand, you know, different issues which this e-commerce storefronts are facing. Thanks for this information, Koi, you know, sharing your opinions. What do you think? Like, what's your take on, you know, when it comes to BigCommerce and Unboxd, you know, this partnership? There are so many pros, which a seller can extract out of this partnership. What's your take on that? On this?
Yes. So, I mean, you know, just as you said, so many things that a seller can extract out of this partnership, right? You know, with BigCommerce, because we are an open SaaS platform, you're going to get all of the benefits that come with a multi-tenant SaaS, like, you know, upgrades, security, you know, ease of deployment. You're also going to get all of the amazing things that come with an open source platform, like that freedom and flexibility to be able to connect to best in breed technologies. I'm going to come back to that, because that's how Unboxd and BigCommerce really shine. You know, and you're also going to get, from a front end perspective, the customization to be able to ensure that the you know, user experience on your site is one that you truly want and is super dynamic for your customers. But let's loop back to that best of breed technologies, because that's where BigCommerce and Unboxd really come into play, right? The partnership that we have, the native integration that we have between our two companies as well, it makes expanding past what you currently have a thing of beauty. You don't have to worry and or stress about having your content or your product displayed on multiple channels. And just as Prim was talking about, to have this data being pushed to all of these multiple channels while you're traveling, who doesn't want to make money while they're traveling or money while they're sleeping? And by expanding to additional channels and having a product information management system or having Unbxd specifically to then be able to push this content to all of your multiple channels is it's a game changer, right? It's a game changer from a promotions perspective. If you wanted to have a promotion on a particular channel, but not other channels, it's a game changer from a pricing perspective. If you wanted to show, a differentiated price on different channels, it's a game changer from a branding perspective. Let's say, for example, you now have a product that you're selling on your website for a certain price. Well, you can sell that same product with a different SKU and a different name on a completely different sales channel and find out, okay, does this price work here? Maybe these shoppers are a bit more sophisticated than the ones that are coming to my actual store. So it's really being able to give you that freedom and flexibility, which at a time like now, we all need that freedom and flexibility, right? And we need tools and technology that's going to help us to overcome challenges, not to create them. And with BigCommerce and Unbxd, we're able to do that, right? We're able to help you through those pain points that you've got so that you can solve those challenges and those problems. And last but not least, enable you to sell more and focus in on what it is that you truly love, which is bringing a great product to your customers and letting them have an amazing customer experience.
Absolutely, Goy. That you very well said, that enables you to sell more. That's the key. That's what we are trying to say to the sellers. With the help of PIM, you can achieve this. You can realize whatever the goals you're setting for your business. And it's easy to materialize when you have partnership, with the giant like BigCommerce. Thanks, Koi, for sharing all these, opinions, views, and talking about the importance of PIM, and also talking about the role of content in creating a compelling experience for the shoppers. It was indeed a great talking to you. I think we have few questions, and I would like you to, take a look at that, and we'll see. So the question is PIM a product catalog manager? So
Sure. Well, do you want to take that one, Prim? And then I'm happy to essentially kind of add in some additional things.
Absolutely. So I would say it is actually a product catalog manager itself. You don't need a person to manage your catalog, because this tool is going to replace all those people who are involved in managing the content. I'm not saying completely eliminate, but these people will be absorbed in this tool, because this tool provides you with all the different functionalities which you can extract out of it. The content managers can come, the digital asset managers can come, the marketing content manager can use this information, the pricing manager, or people who are looking after the shipping and all this information. These can collaborate together inside the PIM, and they can use this tool to work around all those processes which they are doing in the day-to-day life. Other thing is, when we talk about PIM, product information management, it's very, very important for people to understand that, you should always have a single source of repository for all your information. There are products that you might not be selling in the next quarter or next year, but you might sell these products, let's say 2 years or 1 year down the line. But where is this information? PIM helps you to store this information. PIMs allow you to filter out all those products which you want to currently operate on. And that's how I think PIM acts as a single source of repository. Why it is important? Because right now, most of the people are facing, problem of a distributed information, fragmented information. They are running multiple spreadsheets. They don't know from exactly which spreadsheet was used to upload the information, which spreadsheet was used to run for a particular campaign. And that's where the challenge comes. And how to track all this? Who made these changes? There's no way to track all this. And that's where this tool comes in and helps you in realizing the importance of understanding who made the changes, when is the change was made, and where exactly the change was deployed. So all these things, you have full control. And that's what we are trying to say. If you have full control of your over the information which you're sending to the e-commerce different sales channels, that's the point where you can realize all your business goals, because you know what exactly shoppers want and you have the control over it. You just can't sit back and say that, no, my orders are not coming up, this week my orders have fallen down, and I'm just waiting when this will pick up. No, the time is you pick up PIM, you start revamping your information, you start pushing this information, right information to the different sales channel. And again, with all the different sales channels you are working on, create that unique experience. It should sound like, even a person is coming to Best Buy or Amazon or eBay or Walmart, if you are listed out there, you are giving those customers, that unique experience which that platform is providing. And that's where your success is there. And that's where PIM is coming. And I think if you have to say it's a catalog manager, yes, PIM itself is a product catalog manager. What do you think, Koi?
I would agree. So what you really keyed in on around really help this tool being able to enable merchants to do more, I absolutely love. And I'd love to, if you're open to it, reword something that you had said. So we were talking about using Unbxd. And if a merchant uses Unbxd, we were saying that it could replace these other individuals, right? And just as you said, it doesn't eliminate. And that's the part that I really want to key on, because it's not eliminating individuals from your organization. It's helping to reallocate those individuals towards more revenue generating opportunities, right? Because if we're now able to automate and get them out of the back office, which is the mundane tasks, the manual processes of entering in product information and making sure that all of the SKUs and the variants, connect. And was this updated on Amazon and Walmart, or was it just updated, to Nordstrom's, right? It wasn't updated anywhere else. So being able to automate all of that, take out the manual processes, now those individuals are able to reallocate their time and focus more on sales channels and or revenue generating opportunities. Maybe they're now having more time to speak with your actual customers to understand why the blue polo is selling more than the green one. Maybe they now have time to take a look at other e-commerce stores that are out there and understand their processes and see places where they could begin to improve, right? One of the things that I love doing as well is I enjoy shopping online, and I love kind of going through the entire process just so I can understand, what are my favorite brands out there doing? What does the box look like when it comes? How quickly am I able to get it? What type of communications do they have with me? How are they displaying this product across all of these different multiple channels? Do I have a different experience if I order through Amazon versus their store? These are things that you can, as an e-commerce business owner, start to do once your time is freed up. If not, then you're so focused inside the business as opposed to focusing on the business.
Right.
Help you to reallocate your resources so that you can focus on your business, focus on expanding, focus on additional sales channels, focus on that customer experience. And it's through the automation of the native integration that we have that you're able to do that.
Absolutely. Coming to the native integration, which you said, Koi, there's another question. How will Unbxd work with current BigCommerce product management? Will integration allow for the seamless transition between using generic BigCommerce product catalog to using a PIM like Unbxd? So I would like to answer this question, because we have BigCommerce provide a development atmosphere, I would say environment, where the other third-party players can come and create application to help their users. So that's where we have developed a native integration with the BigCommerce. We have an application listed out in the BigCommerce app marketplace. You can type in Unbxd PIM and you can install. It's free. And once you install, we directly integrate with BigCommerce using APIs, and we extract all the fields, all the information, also the digital assets, videos which you have put on the BigCommerce storefront. We extract everything, and it gets, with a single click, all the information is absorbed in the PIM, and then you can start playing around inside the PIM and updating and enriching the information, and then you can export this information back to BigCommerce. That's also have been made seamless, and you don't have to worry about, because this is also automated. So you can schedule the imports, fetching information from the BigCommerce. If you're creating your new product information on BigCommerce, you can get that information. You can add more fields to it. As I said, there is a custom fields which is given by the BigCommerce. So you can add these custom fields inside the PIM. Can use our HTML editor. You can add multiple images to make the description very, very rich. And then you can push this information to BigCommerce by using the scheduled exports. So we have a direct exports channel, right? So all the process is automated, and it's just a one click away. So yeah, we have seamless integration, and you don't have to worry about what information is coming. We extract information at the parent level, variant level. All the images are extracted from the BigCommerce and it's absorbed in the PIM. So yes, I hope I answer your question.
Love it. Are there any other questions that we've got here, Prem? Because I know that we're starting to run on time.
I think there's one more question. Does PIM show complete data analytics about the product sales and the performance? So I want to clear, because there are multiple tools available in the market which talks about your selling performance. But when I talk about PIM, we are, as we discussed, product information management is absolutely revolving around the core philosophy of managing all the information. It should serve as a single source of truth, because you want to communicate with different sales channels. And when it comes to different sales channels, tracking all the analytics of the different sales channel is a different ball game. And you have different applications to deal with that. When you talk about Amazon, your Walmart, or Best Buy, or all that kind. BigCommerce provide you the native analytics ability. You can see we provide you the analytics for the information which you have. How many products you have, missing images, how many products is not matched with the category. So all the internal analysis of the product is available in the PIM, because that helps the the catalog manager to get on the low hanging fruits and try to identify where the information is lacking, where the information is missing. Also, the other point is, when I talk about the readiness check feature, the major challenge which PIM helps in is basically when you're trying to export information to Amazon, or let's say different, let's say BigCommerce also, or let's say BigCommerce have certain validation rules. They want to create a unique experience to all the shoppers who are coming to BigCommerce, right? So they said that there are certain fields which are mandatory, which needs to have these many character minimum. You cannot give just a one word A or B or C. No, you can't do that. You have to be very careful, because that's very important when it comes to the shoppers, because BigCommerce is taking care of both the ends of the marketplace. I think the seller side also and the shopper side also. Same goes with the Amazon, same goes with all the marketplaces. They're taking care of both the sides. And that's where, these validation rules are there. We take care of helping identifying which product is, not falling under these validation rules. We will pinpoint which information is missing, which information is invalid, and what you have at the product level, not at the category level or something like that, at each product level. And we help you in, resolving these issues, because we store this information. So that's where our analysis comes, and helps in improving the performance. And talking about the sales performance, I think that can be a future goal when we integrate, because that will disrupt the industry. Because if PIM encounters all these sales channels performance, it'll be great to have it. We are looking forward to incorporate all these things. But as of now, our core philosophy is helping the shoppers. So basically, to enhance the information, because that is the key. The content is the key, not the performance. Because if we integrate content and the performance, the focus will again come on the performance, and you miss out on the content, because that's exactly where we are trying to help you. You have to improve the content, because we are thinking from the long-term point of view. I hope it answers your question.
Absolutely.
I think there's no more question, Koi. It was wonderful to have you on this fireside chat, Koi. It was great. The insights you brought was amazing. I am sure the viewers might be, having a lot of questions. They want to reach out to you and, get their solutions to the problem they have. But yeah, a great experience talking to you. And we would like to, extend a warm thanks and regards, and I wish you all the best for your future endeavors.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Prem.